Okay, welcome. Hey everyone, let's see. See if it works. Hey, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube. It's working, it's actually working. How about that, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is, what is it? December 27th, 2023. My goodness, how time flies. Your host, Tom Coffee. We're on the social at Coffee and Nuance. And just bookmark us on Rumble, rumble.com/coffeenuance/live. But let's get into it. Let's get into the big story of the day, the big idea, if you will. The big idea, if you will. If anyone is watching. Yeah, we'll pretend. We'll pretend like they are, right? You're kidding. You are kidding me. Let's see. There we go. All right, here we go. Yeah, so let's do it. Automatic processing. You may have seen that thumbnail and thought, what the hell? What's Tom talking about today? It's the mental jukebox that plays your favorite hits without even pressing play. I mean, who doesn't love the convenience of getting things done on autopilot, right? It's like having a mental personal assistant that never takes a coffee break. Cheers. Automatic processing, folks. It's the unsung hero that helps us churn through daily tasks without a second thought. Making coffee, driving your car, typing without even glancing at the keyboard. It's like our brain's personal shortcut keys. And hey, saves us energy. So we've got a whole lot left for those crucial decisions like what to waste time watching on Netflix. But, there's always a but in life, folks. Automatic processing comes with a hidden catch. It's like finding out your favorite streaming service just upped its subscription fee. Thanks, Amazon. Biases, those sneaky little devils that sneak into our thoughts. They steer us wrong faster than your mom giving directions based on her feelings. Enter mindful self-examination. It's the art of peeling back the layers of our mental onion. It's like shining a light on those cobwebbed corners of your brain where you've stashed away biases and errors. They teach us to hit the pause button, go from autopilot to manual, and take the wheel. So folks, let's power down autopilot every now and again. Press the buttons on mindful self-examination, take charge of our thoughts, and avoid making life decisions that end up as cringe as claiming Biden's the best president in our lifetime. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary news show live right now. Flame on. Kidding me. All right. Put another dollar in the all right jar. Let's talk about automatic processing. And this may be something that may seem vaguely familiar, but maybe you've never really put a term to it. Maybe you've never really examined it. Okay, automatic processing, it's our brain's ability to carry out tasks almost effortlessly, relying on well-learned routines or habits. It's the mental shortcut. It allows us to complete everyday tasks, activities, without any conscious effort, such as driving a familiar route, typing without looking at the keyboard, making coffee in the morning, all these kinds of things. You know, for example, maybe just automatically smashing the like button when Tom comes on your screen. This is an automatic task, right? However, this automatic mode isn't always foolproof. It leads to a lot of errors, biases, and mindlessly repeating behaviors that may not serve us well. The good news is that there's ways to address this and improve this. So the first thing is awareness, right? Recognizing that automatic processing is the first step. Being mindful when you're on autopilot, okay? Now, being on autopilot is a good thing for some things, you know, putting away the dishes from the dishwasher. Probably don't need to examine it every single time you're doing it, you know? Okay, well, all right, the cups go here and the plates go here, and, you know, you don't need to examine it. However, maybe we can examine it every now and again just to make sure that we're doing what we want to do, right? So we need to take time and reflect on our thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and just check to make sure, hey, is this really working for me? Now, maybe like with the emptying the dishes out of your dishwasher, might be. It might be working for you. So you examine it, you're like, yeah, this is working. I don't need to change anything. Good. Cool. But there's so many things that we automatically do in our life that we should at least examine these patterns and behaviors just to make sure we're doing what we really want to do. One thing also that you can do is just slow down and assess things. When faced with decisions where automatic processing might take over, just pause, consider alternatives, challenge assumptions. You know, you're not the same person you were 5 years ago. I hope not. I'm not the same person I was when I started this channel. I've totally changed. I've changed so much. It's unbelievable. Yet I am still repeating a lot of these automatic processes in my life without examining them. So perhaps that's something that I need to do. So you want to consider alternatives, challenge your assumptions, and you want to be conscious about the choices that you make. So you can choose, okay, this is the automatic thing that I'm doing and I like it and it's good. Let's stick with that. You should examine it every now and again. And, you know, you've heard about mindfulness all the time. Well, this is a time then you can practice mindfulness. You can be mindful when you're doing some brain dead task, right? Just to be present and aware. And so that's something else to think about. And lastly, you want to think about intentional action. So you want to deliberately choose to engage in controlled processing when necessary. Now, again, this isn't every day. I'm not saying to examine every single thing in your life, every routine that you have. I'm not saying that you need to always examine what's going on there. But maybe you've just been repeating the same behavior for 20 years. Maybe there's a different way of doing it. Or maybe if you examined it today, you may determine that you might do something a little bit differently had you thought about it. Okay? We don't always come up with the best habits the first time out. Okay? So examining these things can be good. Lastly, we want to learn and unlearn. So you always want to seek new information, challenge your assumptions, and just be open that maybe your old habit wasn't working for you the best. Maybe it was. But the only way that you'll know is to actually look at it. Okay? And then that's going to help us recalibrate things. Also, you can seek feedback from other people if you want. But anyway, if you incorporate these strategies into your daily life, you can shift from automatic processing to a more deliberate and intentional decision making. So anyway, this is going to help you align your goals, align your vision for your life in a positive way. And here's the thing. I understand. You can't, it's really hard to tell somebody, hey, just think about it. Hey, use your mind. Hey, you know, like that sounds really arrogant. However, it is an important reminder. It's an important reminder that we don't have to be on autopilot for everything, and we can re-examine things. Why not? Maybe there's a better way of doing something. Perhaps. But the only way you'll know is to pause and think about it for a minute. Anyway, that was the idea that I wanted to present today. That is automatic processing, just becoming an automaton. It's a good thing that we shouldn't have to think about every task we do every single time we do it. That would be exhausting. However, you don't want to never think about it either. That's kind of the main story. Anyway, I got a number of stories to get to today. Not a whole lot of news is happening between Christmas and New Year's. Why is that? Do things just stop happening? Or maybe the people that are making up all this stuff have taken the week off. If they've taken the week off, then they're not telling all their minions at the media outlets what to report on. I don't know. But it is interesting. It seems like every year, this week, not a whole lot of news. And I mean, there is some news, right? Trump had a crazy post on Christmas, wishing his enemies to rot in hell. Reminder, Merry Christmas. There were some stories, but for the most part, I don't know. Lack of news. And if you watched any of the Sunday news programs this week, not a whole lot of new news. No. It's weird. It's as if news is being produced, and the people that are producing it took the week off. So anyway, let's get to the first story today. In Belgrade, thousands protest against recent parliamentary and local elections, alleging unfairness. What? The ruling party won nearly 47% of the votes, but international observers cited media bias, presidential influence, and irregularities. Oh my. President Vučić defended the elections, but protesters attempted to storm the town hall housing the election commission, leading to clashes with police using pepper spray. The opposition, coming in second and third, attempted to enter the building. Anti-riot police later dispersed the crowd. Amid this, a member of the opposition has been on a hunger strike demanding the annulment of the elections. So, it's interesting. Now, this is Belgrade. Do you know where Belgrade is? Just off the top of your head. The country is Serbia. I was there when I was a kid. I was in Belgrade. That's, I think they said it there. Back then, it was Yugoslavia. That's when I was there. It was a terribly gray town. Like, all the architecture just looked drab and gray. Very, very communist looking Belgrade. It's just lots of dirt everywhere, and just the city just seemed gray. All the buildings, no color at all. But what was interesting, one of the things that was interesting about Belgrade was their street signs were in multiple languages. So it had the Cyrillic alphabet, it had the Roman alphabet. Roman? Is that? Brain's not even functioning today. Haven't had enough coffee. Our alphabet, right? Is that alpha, beta? That's Greek, right? The Greek. I don't. Roman numbers, Greek letters. No, not Greek. I don't know. It had our alphabet. It had the Cyrillic, like the Russian alphabet. It had all kinds of. It had like 3 different languages on every street sign. It was very confusing. Very confusing. But what are we to think of this? When international groups say, hey, you know what? This election doesn't seem to be on the up and up. Now, we don't have that problem here in the U.S. Because all of our elections are 100% legit. Unlike Serbia, we certainly don't have media bias in this country, because that might affect the election, right? We certainly don't have a presidential influence, or the influence of the government on elections? No. And we certainly don't have voting irregularities. Because if we had all of those things, you know, some people might consider our elections to be as trustworthy as these in Belgrade. But of course, that's nonsense. Ours are totally on the up and up. Which is why we did away with exit polls. Because who needs exit polls, right? We don't need exit polls. We can just count the votes. Yeah. Anywho, but I don't know. I don't know what you do when, you know, the population doesn't believe the vote. I think the only answer to distrust of the voting process is more transparency. So, for example, maybe have the ballots counted in public with observers. Maybe have only ballots that people write on by hand and you're not using a machine to enter those things. That would be more transparent. You know, Argentina just had their election. They were able to count whatever 22 million votes. And it's not what we have here, but, you know, they were able to count millions of votes, and they were able to determine the winner before the end of the evening. Seems like we could do it if we really wanted to. Now, here in Oregon, I think some of the process here in Oregon is really good. It is transparent. There are a lot of issues with how Oregon runs its election. And in the past, I kind of thought it was a good thing. And upon reflection, right, upon re-examining it, I see a lot of issues with the way they do things here in Oregon. But all of the votes are counted with representatives from all the parties witnessing the counting of the ballots. So that's good. That's good. Now we've got ballot harvesting and whatnot. We've got a lot of issues with that are not good. Okay, but at least as far as how what's happening in Belgrade, I think more transparency, more better. Less transparency, more corruption. And so that's what we have to go for. Now, I really haven't seen either political party pushing hard for transparency in elections. I just haven't seen it. And you would think after the last election, where many people wrongly thought that there might have been some shenanigans. There weren't, of course. It's 100% legit. But why are those politicians not pushing for election reform? Why are they not pushing for hand-counted paper ballots? I don't know. Why are the Republicans not pushing for hand-counted paper ballots? I'm not seeing these stories. I'm not seeing this effort to make the voting system more transparent, and that tells me that they don't care. They don't care. So if there's more confusion with the next election, it's the fault of people not pushing for more transparency in elections. But that's my take on it. Let me know what you think in the comments. As a reminder, I'll be going through all your comments in the after show. So after I get through a couple more stories, I will go through your comments. And be sure to hang out for that if that's your gig, baby. But next up, something totally predictable. Yet many people just couldn't see it coming. Yeah. 2 major Pizza Hut operators in California are letting go of all their delivery drivers due to a new state law increasing the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 an hour. This impacts over 1,200 drivers across various counties and will occur before the law takes effect in April. The decision is a response to the rising operational costs leading to these layoffs through February. The unused billions from gift cards remains a question also. Stop buying gift cards for people. They don't use them, okay? Just stop it. Just give them cash. Don't do the gift card thing. It's no good. Anyway, there's another act that they put into place, the Warren Act, and it mandates that employers have to give a 60-day notice for mass layoffs. Other fast food chains like Chipotle and McDonald's plan to increase prices on the menu in response to a higher labor cost. So who could have seen this coming? California comes in and says, we got to, fast food workers aren't making enough. We got to raise it up to $20 an hour. And then they just start laying off everybody. Who could have seen this coming? Who could have seen this coming? I don't know, anybody with a brain, right? Yeah, we'll get more and more robots flipping the burgers. We'll force people to walk in and use a machine to enter their order because that's cheaper than paying $20 an hour for someone to sit there and take an order. It's a hard job. I wouldn't want to work at a fast food restaurant for sure. But I think it is it used to be a good entry-level job for any teenager. But now those teenagers won't be able to get those jobs. Nope. I know that several of my friends delivered pizza when they were teenagers to, as a side job in high school. Well, that's gone. That's gone. It's all with the good intention. It's good intentions that we need to raise the wage to $20 an hour. The result doesn't seem to be helping the people that it was meant to help. But often I see a lot of politicians that really don't understand incentives whatsoever. I would encourage them to take an economics class, but based on all the spending they do, I don't think they've taken an economics class either. Or if they did, they didn't pay attention. So yeah, this is another example of pushing wages higher often has the opposite effect of what you want. Yeah, no surprise there. But next up, I got some fear. I'm selling fear on this channel. Chronic wasting disease, CWD. Is that a good fearful voice? Chronic wasting disease. Anyway, it's often called zombie deer disease. It's a concerning illness affecting deer, elk, and related animals in North America. It's caused by an abnormal protein in the brain, and it's leading to behavioral changes, weight loss, and eventually death. Now, although no cases in humans have been confirmed, experts warn of a potential risk. The disease is spread across wildlife in numerous states, with experts urging governments to prepare for the possibility of human transmission. Yikes. Zombie deer disease jumps to humans. Now, despite no known cure or vaccine, efforts are ongoing to understand and contain its spread. So that's the fear story of the day. Oh no. Next year, 2024, what if zombie deer disease spreads to humans? Oh, we might have to have a pandemic. We might have to shut down everything. Maybe we'll have to come up with some vaccines to save us all. We'll have to quarantine and work from home. Vote by mail. Maybe. I just hope the zombie deer disease doesn't become a thing, right? Now, if you visited Portland, you've walked around Chinatown or anywhere downtown. Frankly, I've seen it here in my part of the town. We've got walking zombies too. It's like the hunched over fentanyl zombies that that have infected my ecosystem. But no, this is a different disease. It's coming from deer, and just telling you about it now so that in the future you'll be like, oh yeah, I heard something about that. Anyway, I guess that's all the fear I have. Or is it? In a campaign known as Bring It Back, hashtag Bring It Back, advocates push for legal reform targeting public corruption. Rejecting vigilante justice, they aim for lawful change, proposing redefining corruption and enforcing it as a capital offense punishable by the guillotine. Yeah. And now these demands there include specific legislative alterations, publicizing executions, mandating officials' attendance, and even proposing a federal holiday called Guillotine Day. Now, despite potential censorship, the movement plans to persist, utilizing web archives and social media updates on Twitter. Emphasizing the dramatic spectacle of the guillotine, their aim is maximum deterrence in their pursuit against corruption. I think running on anti-corruption, that's something we can all get behind. And the guillotine, that is a pretty scary symbol. I think if we all started wearing guillotine pins, like a guillotine lapel pin, right? Or a guillotine ball cap, and people say, hey, what's with the guillotine on your ball cap there, Tom? I would say, well, I'm for bringing back the guillotine against government officials who are corrupt. Fear is one of the best motivators. It is literally like the best motivator. Fear works a lot better. If you're afraid that someone's going to kill you, that's a better motivator than, say, a 5% raise. Okay, right? And what if we, as a country, really got behind this bring it back, hashtag bring it back movement against corruption? Perhaps letting your local politicians, your national politicians know that we're against the corruption. And if we can pass some things so that we can have public executions for corruption, we might get a better government. I don't know. I kind of like the idea. Now, I'm sure that if this picks up steam, the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center, they will decide that the guillotine is somehow white supremacy or a symbol of, racism or something, even though the guillotine is from France and it was used against, French aristocrats and whatnot. But somehow they'll make it a hate symbol, right? So you can get on board early. Maybe that's what I'll announce. Next week, I'll be selling guillotine hats and guillotine bumper stickers. I think it'd be a great symbol against corruption. I'm all for it. And it's just kind of a fun idea. Tom, that's a fun idea? Threatening to guillotine public officials? And well, if they're corrupt. Perhaps. But let's see. I got the last story before the good news, and this was crushing. Tom Smothers, part of the iconic comedic duo, the Smothers Brothers, passed away at 86. after battling cancer. Their show, The Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, revolutionized TV with political satire and irreverence, tackling issues like Vietnam, religion, race, and drugs. Tom and Dick's banter often ended with Tom's famous line, "Mom always liked you best," defined their act. The show courted controversy, but aimed to reflect societal issues, featuring edgy segments and writers like Rob Reiner and Steve Martin, appealing to a younger, socially conscious audience. Tom, more liberal than his brother, pushed the show's boundaries, infusing it with meaningful commentary. So, if you don't know, the Smothers Brothers really were the edgiest political commentators on national TV, in my opinion. This was before I was born, but I have gone back and watched it. Tommy Smothers was kind of an idol to me. I really liked his delivery. I liked his style. One of the things that he was able to do that I am not able to do, but I admire in Tommy Smothers, he in this duo he would kind of play the dumb guy, and then the dumb guy is then able to reveal the truth about the world, and he did it in such an incredible way. I thought it was very effective. And you can go back and watch those today, and you can say, "Wow, that is how you can use satire to talk about the news." Something I wish that I could do. But he was very talented at it. On a side note, he got me into yo-yoing back in the day. One of his things is he would yo-yo and do some tricks with the yo-yo, doing some comedy. And Yomega, the yo-yo brand out of San Francisco, they had a Tommy Smothers signature yo-yo, which was really cool. I had a number of different yo-yos from that company, all coming from my love of Tommy Smothers. I thought he was really, really awesome, and probably doesn't get the credit or that he deserves for the impact that he had on society. But I think just had an incredible impact in the 60s. So I just wanted to share that with you. I have fruit flies in here. I got lots of, I'm making banana chips. So I have a couple dozen bananas that are ready to be baked. And now I've got fruit flies in my studio. Anyway, well, we need some good news, and this is some good/silly news. Las Vegas anticipates its busiest wedding day ever on New Year's Eve 2023 due to the special 12/31/23 date, known for its pattern. See, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? 12/31/23. Anyway, this combined with the holiday celebrations make it a highly sought after for weddings. The current record to beat is about 4,500 marriages in a day, set in 2007 on July 7th. But will they beat the record? Will they beat the record? Well, I think it's kind of fun when we have these dates. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 12/31/23. Kind of fun. And you know what? This only works in the U.S. because we're the country that does month, date, year. Right? The rest of the world does day, month, year. Or year, month, day. But we, for whatever reason, do month, day, and then year. Kind of dumb, really stupid way to do dates. It really is. It doesn't even make any sense. We've been on this automatic processing that we've just accepted that as the right way to do things. No, we can change the way that we do our dates. It's stupid. Month, day, year. Doesn't even make sense. But since we do, now we've got this fun thing that you could get married 123-123. You'll never forget your anniversary. That's for sure. So I thought that was kind of fun news. Anyway, stick around for the after show. I'll go through all your comments and whatnot. I will be back on Friday with a fact check Friday. And Friday night, we'll do another Midnight Americano at 9 p.m. Midnight on the East Coast. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. And until then, peace. What's up, what's up, what's up? Here we go. Rumble checking in. Hashtag Rumble Gang. Hashtag Need My Coffee Fix. What's up, John? Good to see you. Ox, Rev. Nice. I didn't see the truth message until you mentioned it. May they rot in hell. Merry Christmas. Yeah. I don't know. Is Trump the greatest troll in the history of mankind? I would think so. Yes, may they rot in hell. Merry Christmas. Rev says, I just settle for consequences for politicians that pass laws that are overturned as unconstitutional and consequences for judges who get overturned on their decisions. There should be consequences, but apparently there's not consequences for certain people. That's just how it works. Ox says, I'm an American, but I always write year, month, date because it isn't ambiguous and it sorts correctly for data processing. Yeah, it totally works better. Even for this show that I do, I title all of my thumbnails. I think I do it like today's thumbnail for my own thing would be 23/12/27. That way they're all in order, they're easy to sort, they're easy to find. That's the way that it should be done. But we've got an entire country on automatic processing, and we're not challenging anything. From a survival perspective, as someone who grew up out in the country with animals farming, it's always much more important to know what month it was more than the day of the month or the year. Okay. Interesting. It's important to know the month of the day. The month rather than the day. I get that. You know, it was interesting when I lived in the Seychelles. I had an idea for a watch. I've never made the watch. You know, you get a lot of ideas. Obviously, it's not an original idea. But the idea would be a watch that just had the day of the month or the day of the week. Because everybody there was so laid back, there was no point in telling anyone, "Hey, I'll meet you at 2:00 at the Mahi Beach Hotel or whatever." You would just hope that they would get there on the same day, right? That's how laid back everyone was there. And so I always joke that you should get a watch that just had the day of the week, because that was the only thing that really mattered. The hour and the minute meant nothing out there. That's for sure. Anyway, over here on the YouTubes, what is up? People checking in. Everybody. Natasha says, I'm outside, so please use your outside voice, Tom. I think my voice is just kind of the same always, inside and outside. It is what it is. Tom, did you look at the stuff your Kindle selection? Any I should download? No, I didn't. I don't know the Stuff Your Kindle selection, so I will look that up after the show and see what that's about. Apothecary John says, I don't know if the two are related, but I've been liking all your streams, and my love life has never been better. Oh, there we go. Well, I don't know about you, but that proves it, ladies and gentlemen. You want the best love life that you can have, you need to be liking your streams. And maybe that's my own problem, is I've never liked my own stream. Because I feel it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cringe to hit like on your own stream. But perhaps now that I know this from Apothecary John, I might just start hitting the like on my own stream. Thank you. Thank you for that. AI is eliminating creativity. When the lights go out, so does their cleverness. Glad I can catch your show on my drive home. Well, I'm glad you could catch the show on the drive home, too. Good to see you, Gonzo. Yeah. I wonder if Belgrade put all those protesters in prison like we do. No, Belgrade didn't arrest the people. I mean, protesting an election, that would be... Never mind. I think you're talking more quietly than ever. Huh. Well, I'm looking at my mic levels. They seem to be within the acceptable range. So that is my equipment, and maybe you need to turn your equipment up. I do not know. 100% voter integrity here. Yeah, 100%. But I do think paper ballots are a big deal. It's funny. I remember back in the 80s, I was living in Europe, and I remember that Sweden had an election, and I couldn't believe that it was just a little like 5x7 piece of paper, and you just write on it. And I was like, really? That's what you do? And they're like, yeah, and we count them all in public. Oh, well. Now, in hindsight, it seems like a good idea. Gift cards are lazy ways to show you really didn't put any thought into your gifts. Here, pick out your own gift. Yeah. Well, I don't like it because it's pick out your own gift, but at this particular store. You know? I got some gift cards, and I try to use them as soon as I get them because otherwise I'll forget. But I just got one from one of the coffee chains. Dutch Brothers. I think it's an Oregon thing. I don't know if it's in the rest of the country. So I guess I'll go get a coffee there. So at least I use the card. Because otherwise, you forget about them, you set them aside, and then you never use them. And then they've got it set up that they expire in a few years. It's a whole scam. Don't do the gift cards. Just give them a check or give them cash. Never waste the chronic. Yeah, I watched the Smothers brothers on Carson. Yeah, they were great. Tommy did a dead ringer impression of Johnny Carson. He absolutely did, and if I could play those things without getting it struck, I would play it for you. But you can look that up. Tommy Smothers on Carson. He's great. Will you be featuring Tommy in your new segment on Midnight Americano? He does have a distinctive voice, and he does have a distinctive delivery, so that would be a possibility, although it might be a little too soon. But yes, Tommy Smothers could definitely be part of Ex Post Reacto. That's one of the featured segments on the Midnight Americano show. So we'll see. Will they beat the divorce stats? That's the question. Oh, who knows? I suspect that I'm guessing that most people that get married in Vegas, it's not their first wedding. Might not be their second wedding. And if you're getting married for a third time or whatever, you don't want to throw something and make people come to it. You just want to elope and go somewhere. So going to Vegas to get married, that's kind of a reasonable thing to do. I've never really cared about any of that. I'd get married in Vegas, or I'd get married in a big fancy, church, or what. I don't care. To me, it wouldn't matter. I'd have no problem getting married by an Elvis impersonator in Vegas. I think that'd be fun. Change the way we do dates. What's next? Change to metric? Yeah, that's funny. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Nice to see you. It's been a while. But I'm glad you're checking in, Kevin L. Morgan. Good to see you. Changing to metric. Yeah, it's funny. In the 70s, when I was I was trying to convince my parents when I was in elementary school that, no, you got to learn metric. This is what it's all going to switch to. And I remember Jimmy Carter, there was a push to switch the country to metric. There's no reason that we're using miles. Kilometers makes so much more sense. It's so much easier. Pound, ounces, tablespoons, just go metric, right? I mean, the only way that people learn, you learn grams when you're when you're buying drugs, right? An ounce is 27 grams. You know that from buying drugs or something, but grams work, right? They make metric makes so much more sense than our English system of measurement. Yeah. Erie Fairy says, I like gift cards for bookstores so that I can pick out my own books. People don't know what I read or have already. Yeah, but you could also pick out a book with cash, right? I don't know. We have Dutch Brothers in Texas. Neighbor's kid works there. Oh, how about that? I believe Dutch Brothers started in Oregon. I don't go there because it's one of these places that, like, all the drinks are full of, I don't know, they all seem to be like 1,000 calories and they all got syrups and all kinds of stuff in them. I like my coffee just, most of the time, just black is how I like my coffee. So, yeah. But, yeah, they seem to be popular. People like them. Well, unless they look at my Amazon wish list. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Most people can adjust to metric in about 3 days. Take any trip to a metric-based country, and you can adjust quickly. That is for sure. I agree with you there on Rev. Yeah, it seems like every other country uses metric. I mean, it just makes sense. It's easier for everybody. Like how many feet are in a mile? Do you know? Do you know without looking it up? I'm not even sure. It's like 5274 or something. That's probably wrong. I've forgotten it off the top of my head. How many meters are in a kilometer? 1,000, right? So, yeah, we ought to switch. We really should. It would just make sense. But anyway, Jesse's saying that, not sure if it's true, but he heard we don't use metric out of spite. Could be. I don't know. But you know what? It's just at this point, it's dumb. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. He really is. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I guess for some things, then like on dating profiles, it would no longer say I swipe left on anyone under 6 foot. It would say I swipe left on anyone under 1,83. 1.83 meters? 6 foot? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Silly. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks everyone for commenting, hitting the like button, all that good stuff. I'll be back on Friday. I've really been examining what I want to do how I can make changes so that I can do a better show, reach more people, have it not be as much work for myself. So I'm all putting that together because January 1st, I will be live on Monday. So, and I always like a fresh year. A fresh year is a good time to start something new, in a different way. And like I've been saying the last week or two, a year ago, I never streamed. My first stream was January 1st of this year, 2023. And, I've learned a lot from it. So January 1st, 2024, might try something different. We'll see. Anyway, hope you all are doing awesome possum. I will see you next time, and have yourself a beautiful week. Peace.